Hello again. In the third chapter of Daniel's book in the Bible, his three friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, have put their learning and training at Babylon High to really good use and have been given special responsibility in Babylon.
Their friendship has grown, and that's really good news because they're about to face a big challenge, the sort of challenge that will reveal their true character and how much they value the friends around them. At this point in the story, we meet a big, tough character with a really strange name. He's the king, and he's called Nebuchadnezzar.
One thing you can be sure of when you get to your next school is that you will come across some challenging people and big characters there. Maybe teachers who seem much stricter than at primary school. Maybe pupils in your year or the years above who have really strong personalities and sometimes make life a bit difficult.
Well, Nebuchadnezzar was so full of himself and was so proud and arrogant that he had a statue made of himself. It was 27 meters high and 2.7 meters wide and made from gold. When it had been put in place, he called all the important people to gather round it.
Just imagine them all looking up at this enormous statue that could be seen for miles around and which made sure everyone knew how important the king thought he was.
An announcement was made to everyone in the kingdom that as soon as they heard music being played on instruments like flutes and harps, pipes and trumpets, everyone must bow down and worship the golden statue. If anyone refused or failed to do so, then they'd be in big trouble. They'd be thrown into a blazing furnace of fire.
Although your school won't have a king with a long, strange name ruling over it or a huge golden statue in the playground, there will probably be people around who are sometimes proud and arrogant and think they have the right to look down on others and try to make them do what they don't want to do.
Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are going to give us some helpful guidance as to how to handle people like that. You see, when the music played, our three friends refused to worship the king's statue. When the music played, they stood firm. They stood up instead of bowing down and didn't give in to the pressure to do the wrong thing.
Their faith was really important to them. They believed in the God of the Bible and that it was wrong to worship any other god except him. They refused to keep the king's rule.
Now, it's important to say here that it's right and good to keep the rules in school. Rules are not a bad thing. They're there for our benefit, to help us make the most of the experiences and opportunities that school offers. So take time to get to know the school rules and keep them.
That also goes for homework. Sometimes it may seem that it's getting in the way of using your own or your free time to do things that you enjoy. But getting your homework done early gives you a good chance of progressing really well with your studies as the year unfolds and also frees up time to do the things you enjoy when it's finished.
So normally rules are good, but the problem with the king's rule was that it was made out of arrogance and pride. It wasn't a rule that had the best interests of the people at heart.
We know that because Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego refused to bow down to the statue. Someone told the king and he flew into a rage. Immediately he had the friends brought before him and demanded they bow down to the statue when the music played.
But the friends, encouraged and strengthened by one another, stood firm and stood up. They refused to give in to the bully king and bow down. You know, if someone says, "Do this or else," it's probably safe to conclude that it's not the right thing to do. The three friends believed that God would watch over them as they stood up for what was right.
The furious king ordered that the furnace be turned up to 7 times its normal heat and told his guards to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the fire. As the soldiers pushed the friends towards and then into the furnace, the heat of the flame struck the guards down.
And then something amazing happened. When Nebuchadnezzar looked into the furnace and counted the people present, he counted 1, 2, 3, 4. There was someone else in the furnace too, guarding and protecting the friends. God was watching over them.
Whether you believe in God or not, it's really important to remember that there is always someone for us to turn to when we face a tough or challenging or difficult situation. If you believe in God, you can pray. In school, there will always be key members of staff who are there to listen, support and help. Whatever the problem is, please don't hesitate to speak to someone you can trust at home or in school.
When Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego came out of the furnace, they didn't have a mark on them. The people who caused trouble for the friends ended up in really big trouble themselves, as will usually be the case when people treat others badly in school.
So what do we learn from this part of the story? Choose to do the right thing. Keeping the school rules is a wise thing to do, and keep on top of your homework too.
And if problems do come along, especially if someone is trying to cause trouble or make you do something you don't want to do, stand firm. Seek help and support from people you trust, from close friends or key adults.
You will not be alone, and you will find out who your real friends are. The sort of friends who make school a special place and make friendships that sometimes last for a lifetime.